Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Death By, where contestants will earn reps for their arguments for a chance to stand on top of the podium pedestal. I am your host, Lauren Khalil. Whoever I decide has the best argument through the final round will earn 30 additional seconds to talk about a topic of their choosing. Today's episode, we have a sponsor. It is Strongest. If you haven't heard about them yet, you've got to download their app, because if you're like me, trying to maximize your workout, you're not really good with numbers, you don't really know how to plan out your pacing, these are the guys that you want to get hooked up with. The Strongest app does all the math for you so you can be focused on just getting fitter. It's the only app with personalized pacing guidance that reverse engineers the timeline to guarantee that you can achieve a specific goal. Now, Veterans Day, it's coming up, and many of us will be taking on Chad, 1,000 box weighted step-ups 4 times. And with the Strongest app, you can plug in your goal finish time, and it will write out the paces for you. You can try the app for free. Just download it in your app store. We also have that little QR code that you can scan with your phone. Now, on today's episode of Death By, we have affiliate owner and CrossFit analyst Chase Ingraham with the programming, head coach of Underdogs Athletics, Justin Cotler. Nice and serious over there. And athlete agent and L3 CrossFit trainer, Jared Graybeal. Let's play Death By. Dave Castro, he confirmed that the CrossFit Open, it will remain 3 weeks for the 2024 season. Do we love it or hate it? Justin Cotler, I'm going to let you kick this one off.
I guess I love it. I mean, here's the deal. I remember I was, I owned an affiliate, the first Open, way back in 2012. And there was 5 weeks and we had 5 weeks for several years, which was quite a strain on affiliates. It was really challenging, especially if you didn't have a big affiliate with equipment and with dealing with classes and members, et cetera. So I think in general for the sport, I like 3 weeks. I like that it's truncated. I think, I still think that there's a way to make it easier for affiliates. I think they can do a better job of letting us know what equipment is coming up, et cetera. That will help with, owners. I mean, I remember the first year when we had no idea dumbbells were coming, and then all of us at the last minute were scrounging for dumbbells, which was a freaking disaster.
I think we all remember that.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. So in general, I think, but I think 3 weeks is fine. And I think we've gotten used to that as a community. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
What is the lead time that you would want to see from CrossFit giving out the equipment list?
I'd love to see a month in advance. Just give us an equipment list that gives us plenty of time as affiliate owners and gym owners to be able to get what we need. And I think the floor plans, they could do the way they've done it kind of earlier in the week, and that's not a problem. But I think without question, it's super important for affiliate owners, especially those affiliate owners that have limited space. That's the thing. You've got a lot of boxes that are, 2,000 square feet and under. It's incredibly important for us to understand, what equipment we need, just in case there's some things we have to get, from either neighbors or purchase for the Open.
2 points for Justin Cotler. Chase, love it or hate it, 3 weeks.
And just a little, fact checking is 2011 was the first Open.
11.
5 weeks, and it wasn't 6 weeks. It was actually 7 weeks because we repeated week 1 back to back. Just wanted to put that out there for people playing along. Love it or hate it. As an athlete, for me personally, I really enjoyed the 5 weeks, but that with the caveat was without quarterfinals. So to me, the 5-week test overall for my fitness level versus other people, I thought it was more balanced and robust of a test. I enjoyed that. As an affiliate owner, and this is where I'm keeping the eye on from, is that 3 weeks is an easy sell as an affiliate owner. It's not as heavy of a lift as 5 weeks. We have the quarterfinals now, so 5 weeks of the Open doesn't really make any sense. In fact, that makes it worse as a burden on the affiliate owner when it comes to that. And then look at the side from CrossFit. right? If we're going to keep this consistency that we've been trying since 2021 when quarterfinals first came on board, if we have open quarters, semis, games again, that's the third year we've had it consistent. So that helps affiliate owners and it helps CrossFit as far as how they manage the season. So I do like the 3 weeks as an affiliate owner and for CrossFit, even though myself, I did enjoy the 5.
And then Dave Castro did say in yesterday's week of review, if anybody's watching on Wednesday, we recorded this on Tuesday, that more details will come out Wednesday morning with quarterfinals. Do you want it to stay the same, Chase, or would you like that to have some tweaks?
Well, I think what I want and what may happen has been shown to not be on the same page for quite some time. But, I'm in the sense of quarterfinals being more programmed for the demographic taking the test maybe this year versus what we had last year would be my biggest want as an individual.
Okay, but you love the 3-week open.
I like 3-week open. I think it's better for affiliate owners and CrossFit as a whole.
Okay. 3 points for Chase. Jared, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with love it as well for a few reasons. One, I think that being that one of the weeks is typically a 2-part test, you can have a well-rounded, well-balanced test in 4 workouts. The Zalos games proved it. Other competitions have proved it. It's hard to do with only 4. You can test like strength, metabolic conditioning, gymnastic skill, things like that with 4 workouts, which are usually done over 3 weeks. 2, Dave talked about a couple weeks ago in his YouTube videos that, they made this decision based on some metrics, right? So across the board, what they saw was week 4 and week 5 had major drop-offs for people submitting their scores and their times just historically, right? So it's like, you do have to make decisions based on data. I don't think it was necessarily just because CrossFit HQ didn't want 5 weeks. It was like, okay, well, if people aren't going to submit their score for week 4 and week 5, there's clearly low engagement. Let's make a positive change based on that decision. And then last but not least, just like Chase said, 3 weeks is much easier for affiliates, especially if people aren't even doing week 4 and week 5, right? So it's like if they're forced to host a Friday Night Lights for a third of the audience that did the first week, but just because CrossFit wants to do week 4 and week 5, then that's a huge strain and it's just unnecessary. So you can do a balanced test in 3 weeks considerably for a really broad audience, right? We're not trying to find the fittest in the world there. And then it's easier on affiliates and the metrics just show that it's a good decision. So I like 3 weeks.
Jared, is that mustache new?
Yeah. November, baby. Yeah.
It looks new.
I didn't notice it until the screen got big. And truthfully, I didn't listen to much of your response because I was so focused.
It's encapsulating, right? It looks pretty good. Yeah.
On the stash, I'm going to have to give you 4 points just for November.
Bring the stash in. Yeah, thank you. I didn't know if it would work for me, but I don't mind it. So,
over the years, I've become a little bit more supportive and it's for a good cause. So, you know what? We'll give you an extra point for that.
I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Jared leads round number 1, 4 points. Chase right behind him with 3 and Justin Cotler with 2 as we head into topic number 2. So also in the news recently, CrossFit HQ named DeCoons as the new VP of Global Affiliates and Operations. Following the announcement, there was some criticism from this decision as back in 2018, DeCoons described CrossFit as unsafe and will not acquire an L1 until this December. However, he has since clarified his words and admitted that after doing CrossFit over the last 5 years, it changed his understanding of it. Dave Castro also addressed the concerns on his week in review.
I think it's okay for us to give him a chance, and that's what we should do. That's all I'm going to ask of anyone who's listening to me, is just give him a chance and judge him off of what he does going forward. Let's watch the work and the contribution he makes to CrossFit HQ, the affiliates, and the community at large going forward. Let's set aside what he said then and understand that he's in a different place in his life and a different person with a different perspective. And that's okay. If you just want to listen to what he said in 18 and just hold him accountable for that and just think that that's how he thinks now, and punish him for that, which I've seen some suggest, then we're essentially engaging in the ugliest nature of cancel culture.
So what are your thoughts on this new decision? We are going to start with Jared in this round.
Okay, let's get after it. So I want to say a couple things. One, I don't judge or have any real opinion on Jay based on the fact that 5 years ago he didn't think it was safe. Now, I say that as like a standalone decision on an island because, like, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, I would have said the same thing. I think a lot of people prior to starting CrossFit have similar opinions because it's such a unique methodology. I never thought that I'd personally be able to run miles and then squat heavy like in the same day, right? So I don't judge him based on that. I don't have a particular bias against him as a person at all. I think he seems like a nice guy, but the L1, he's not a certified L1 trainer. The L1 is a core fundamental element of opening and running an affiliate. And now we've put him in charge of running 13,000 of them, or at least helping 13,000 affiliate owners run their affiliates, right? To some capacity. You wouldn't hire someone who didn't go to law school to run, we'll just say, the largest law firm on the planet. You wouldn't hire someone who doesn't know how to use AutoCAD to run the largest architectural firm in the world, right? So how could we possibly think that hiring a guy without an L1 to help assist 13,000 affiliates around the globe is a good decision? And even if you were going to hire this guy, at least have him do the L1 before you announce it, right? Just from like a PR and an optics perspective, it's just a huge miss. And it continues to like not help the media team look good at HQ. And lastly, additionally, he ran a yoga studio chain for a period of time. And then he was the CEO of a company called The Bar Method, which had a little over 100 boutique studios around, I think, Canada and the US. And in my opinion, and then it ultimately went bankrupt, right? So given that there was less than a 100th of the size of the CrossFit affiliate network, and now they're bankrupt, it doesn't give me much confidence in his ability to lead a global network of wildly independent gym owners to the promised land. And so for what it's worth, if I'm just sharing more of my opinion, I don't even think this was like a Dave or Don decision personally. I think this is probably handed down from the board, where I believe Eric Rose is still the chair. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the board is the one that makes these kind of decisions. So it's not like I'm saying like, oh, Dave's losing it or Don's losing it. I just generally think it's a bad decision that was probably out of their hands. And again, I don't have anything against the guy. I just think he's not the right person for the job in general.
Do you think that what CrossFit needs, though, is somebody who is almost from the outside and isn't so deep rooted in CrossFit to have possibly a different perspective?
Possibly, yes, but not someone who ran 100 bar studios that went bankrupt.
Okay, fair enough. 3 points for Jared. Some good info there. Chase, we're going to jump to you now. What are your thoughts on this decision?
Well, starting with Jared's first echoing of what Jay said in 2018, if we all basically outed everybody out of the club who had a negative feeling about CrossFit before they started, this would be a very small club. Very few people saw CrossFit, fell in love with CrossFit, started CrossFit, and stayed in CrossFit. There's very few people that did that, and there's very few people that are still around that did that. That being said, it's not going to excuse the opinion that people have of what he said being an issue for them. I don't blame people for that. And at the same time, I don't really necessarily blame Jay for having that opinion 5 years ago. Now, the optics is this whole situation doesn't look good, right? And the good faith-o-meter for CrossFit is probably a little low over the last 3 or 4 years, so I understand that. And to take basically HQ at their word, say, hey, this is a good hire, it's tough for people to wrap their head around. For me, is I've got to meet Jay. I've got to talk with Jay, and I've enjoyed my experience with Jay. He's coming from a humble position of he's here to learn more about what the affiliates need, and he's reaching out to affiliates, affiliate reps. He's talking to people on staff, people that have been around a while that may not even be in the affiliate department, but just getting a good grasp of where we have been, what we are now, and where we want to go in the future. As opposed to coming in and saying, hey, this is what I used to do. We're going to do it this way because I know better than you that. He hasn't done that. So he is having a good face effort going forward. Would I have liked to have his little one before that? Sure. The flip side of that is that he's not coming in to be an affiliate owner himself. He's not coming in to be a trainer himself. So that being a massive prerequisite doesn't hinder my opinion of that as much. I think everybody that works for CrossFit should eventually get their level 1 and do CrossFit. That's my opinion. So I'm with you guys there. But for Jay, I'm in a position of, I'm going to let you come in here. Like, I'm going to let you, like I'm the gatekeeper of this. I am going to be of the opinion of, I'm going to let you prove yourself to this. This is also a very, arguably the most important position to be in for Cross right now. Supporting and helping the affiliates. Not as coaches, not as community builders. That's not what we need. That's what the level 1 does. We need to create stronger, better, more successful business owners and entrepreneurs. That's what Jay's job is, and that's what his experience is, regardless of maybe what his past record will be. Right? And so we got to make sure that we keep in mind there. So at the same time, it's like, I'm going to give him an opportunity. I'm going to support Jay as much as I can. I work for the affiliate team for CrossFit. So there is no one that is more tied to Jay on this call, and other than the other 6 people that are doing this job with him in North America, let alone all the reps in the world, is like, we're going to work hard to work together and do this. Lauren, I loved your opinion earlier, is that maybe we need someone who had the most misguided opinion of CrossFit because of the perception of CrossFit from the outside world in this position. So now we know the blueprint of how to combat that. How do we change that mentality? How do we change that narrative? Who told you this? How did you think of that? Maybe we do need to get outside the box a little bit and find someone who thought one way, we changed his mind, and maybe those two things together could be the best thing forward for the affiliates.
But so then what would the turnaround time or the learning curve be for somebody like Jay, who, yes, he's been doing CrossFit now for 5 years, but to bring him up to speed, know everything that is essential for him about the affiliates in order to make progress and get CrossFit to where we all want to see it?
I mean, the turnaround time we would all want would be yesterday, right? That's what we want. And that's what the affiliates.
What's a realistic timeline?
But the realistic timeline is, what are you doing day 1? Right? What are you doing day 1 for us to basically move in the right direction? Because just like CrossFit, the training methodology, how CrossFit runs as a business should be that long, slow, steady, always advancing horizon. Not do we need to fix it now. Because if you look at it, is this, we just need to get a little bit better in certain areas to help the affiliates grow individually, not numbers around the world. That'd be great. But what we need is, we need some more quality, right? We need to improve our owners as business owners and entrepreneurs, because there is no one better in the world at what CrossFit gym owners do, and that's helping people change lives, like save lives. That is what they do, right? But they can't do that if they can't keep the doors open. So we need to have a bit of focus on the business side, because there's nobody does a better job than CrossFit trainers with teaching, coaching, and community building. Nobody. That's not the problem anymore. The problem is because they keep the doors open long enough to affect more lives.
I agree with that. Can I say 2 more things before Justin goes?
Absolutely.
You can say as much as you like. I don't have much to say on this issue. I wouldn't know Jay DeCoons if I fell over it. So say as much as you like. I'm ready to go. My time to just talk about Rogue, about my ready. I was going to do a whole Jay DeCoons like Allen Iverson bit. You know, like, we talking about Jay DeCoons? Not a game. DeCoons.
Careful, that could get you 6 points, Justin.
I know.
You never know. It could.
But knowing Laura, she might not even know that. She didn't know she didn't know when I was talking about movies. She didn't know. I don't know. Allen Iverson might be before her time, so we'll have to.
Don't bring movies to this show. That's for when Sean and Tommy are hosting.
Go ahead, Jared.
So
go ahead.
Just to back up a little bit, when I say I agree with Chase, I agree especially with the last thing he said. Like, the CrossFit trainers are the best at teaching, coaching, community building, etc. But I have seen some social media pushback on Jay DeCoons being a Stanford MBA. And then there's some old content about Greg, I don't want to say talking badly, but just not talking great about people with MBAs. And I think that's unfair to like criticize someone who has an extended background in like business education. So that's something that I actually admire about Jay DeCoons. And I think you can be a high level CrossFit coach with a freaking Stanford MBA. So I want to push that out to the side. That's like, that doesn't mean he doesn't belong in the CrossFit community because he's got like all this business experience. However, not to toot my own horn, when I first started CrossFit, I spent a long time in the bodybuilding community, like the Globo Gym or whatever, not talking good about CrossFit, very much like DeCoons. But when I joined CrossFit in April of 2019, I got my L1 within 3 months. And the reason for that is because I fell in love with CrossFit and the community. And I thought, what's the next steps here for me personally, despite my ambitions? And it was like, oh, I'm going to get my L1. I want to learn as much as possible about this community and how to get better in a short period of time. And so I got my L1 in 3 months. And I don't think I'm the only one that has done that. I know a lot of people that don't even coach or train or whatever that have their L1s. So for him, again, I don't mean to beat the guy up, but I've read that he's been doing CrossFit for 3, 4, 5 years. If he's really that passionate about CrossFit, why doesn't he have his L1 yet? And why did he have to get the job first in order to be passionate enough to go and get one? So that to me is a red flag in terms of like, we're going to hire this guy, but he didn't love it enough to get his L1 on his own. So that's, and again, that doesn't say anything about his character. I don't want to beat this guy up. It just says like, is he really that interested in CrossFit, or is this just a really lucrative career opportunity for him?
We will now go to Justin Cotler. Chase, for that round, you got 4 points. Justin, you want to talk about? We already gave Jared his points.
Oh, okay.
He's not getting additional for his extra points.
I thought I was just going to keep getting more for the mustache.
No. That was first round only.
Gotcha. I mean, listen, these guys, I think, covered this topic extremely well. I don't have a lot to add other than to say that, when I was an affiliate owner, and I think Chase brought up a very good point about the fact that, the main issue, especially after the pandemic, was more about how do we keep the lights on than anything. And I think ultimately, the metrics show, obviously, that CrossFit, especially domestically, it has been on a downward tick for the last several years as far as popularity is concerned. And I know how challenging it was to simply keep the doors open. So whoever they put in this position, I would hope is going to work their asses off to help affiliate owners stay in business, to help affiliate owners, promote their product. And because at the end of the day, we all know CrossFit changes lives. It's why I got involved. It's why most of us are involved. Our motto at our affiliate was change your fitness, change your life. And I truly feel like over the years, we changed thousands of lives. But unless you're able to keep the doors open, you're not able to change people's lives. And ultimately, I don't, like I said, I don't know much about DeCoons, but my hope is that he'll be able to help affiliate owners, flourish and stay in business. And ultimately, because, at the end of the day, if we don't have that, then we're not going to be able to change all those people's lives that are coming into CrossFit. And that ultimately, I think, is what everybody wants.
I would agree with that sentiment. I'm going to give you 2 points, Justin.
I just busted my butt for one more point than Justin on that.
Sorry, Jared.
Sorry,
the mustache took it all in round 1. Moving on now to topic number 3. Very open-ended question here, guys. How can CrossFit become more lucrative? We can look at this from the sports perspective, affiliate, HQ. I'm going to let you take it however you see fit. Chase, you can kick off our final round.
Oh, that is a very open-ended question. And, lucrative from the terms of brand value, lucrative from the terms of what can affiliates bring in, lucrative from the terms of popularity of the sport, because there are limiting factors in each place. And I think if you want to try to go the path of how can CrossFit increase its brand value and then in turn maybe be more lucrative or increase its revenue process, and that's increasing the, I would say, perception of what the brand really is. right? Or it really was. And it's not necessarily we need to go back to like hardcore, like the old YouTube videos with, System of a Down playing and we're all shirtless, tattooed with Chuck Taylors on, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be that, but the spirit of that is what makes CrossFit great. It's what made CrossFit draw people out of the Globo Gym and into the garage, and then into the garage evolved into their own unique affiliates that we have today. But it's building that brand value of what does CrossFit really stand for? What are they trying to do? And in my opinion, it's turning our eyes towards, like we said with the affiliates, but it's coming out and being more vocal about what we can do and what we have done. And that's connecting the difference between what we do in the gym and I think health as a whole, health and fitness. CrossFit should come out and tell people what we really are. We are a life-changing health and fitness organization. You should come to us if you want to lose weight. You should come to us if you want to increase your muscle mass. You should come to us if you're having mental health problems or you're feeling lonely or you want to pick up your grandkids for the rest of your life. CrossFit is the answer. CrossFit is that. So what we need to do is be more vocal about that and not be afraid to take a stand, plant the flag. It's like if you want to improve your life from top to bottom, it comes from CrossFit. That's where we can turn around this more lucrative concept of what CrossFit can be.
So why isn't CrossFit doing that? And I think it's the concept of, is it the chicken or the egg? Do we invest all of this money in marketing and media to send that message? Or do we make money first before we have money to invest in that?
That's a great question. And the answer is that something like that cannot be turned around in a day, let alone something that got bought a couple of years ago with turnover in the C-suite, in the CEO position that we've had over the last couple of years. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. Right. And so like I said, when do we want to see affiliate change? The answer was yesterday. The best answer is tomorrow. And the hope is that CrossFit knows this. CrossFit understands this and that they're going to start putting in, like the hope is that, right? Is that they're going to start putting those things in place, because if you're going to stand out and put yourself on a ledge and say something like that, it shouldn't just be with words. It should be backed by action, irrefutable action that will come from CrossFit. Can that happen in a day? No, it cannot. Because if you want to do it right, it will take some time. What would be nice though, is that we know something like that is coming. That's where I would like to see maybe more of that transparency of where we are going as a company.
So if we're talking about how it can become more lucrative, again, we'll go back to the question, what would the timeline be? Is this a 1-year plan or do we need to be looking more of a 5-year plan?
I think this is a forever plan starting tomorrow, right? This isn't, hey, we made it. It is, we are going to constantly evolve what this really is. We're going to be that truthful connection between health, like your basic health, life-saving health and fitness. And that is a forever thing, right? That is a forever thing. But we need to make sure is that a lot of our choices that we make in CrossFit are going towards that never-ending goal. There is no endpoint, right? There is no endpoint. It's like, what's the next step to get towards this? Great. Once we get there, what's the next step? How do we improve this? Is it a quality thing or is it a quantity thing? Is it a vocal thing? Is it a media thing? Is it an affiliate thing? Like, we need to constantly evolve and continue to push through that one ideal that we should have as far as CrossFit's concerned.
4 points for Chase. Justin, take a stab at this one.
I'm going to look at it more from a sports and media perspective. And, I've mentioned it before and I'll keep talking about it until I'm blue in the face. I think the way that CrossFit becomes more lucrative, I think the way the sport becomes more lucrative, I think the way that the athletes make more money, the way the coaches make more money is we increase the visibility of the sport. And there'll be a trickle-down effect because that will tap into the methodology as well. And that is to create a series, a reality TV show, very similar to Drive to Survive. We have modern-day superheroes doing superhuman things. And the world, if the world sees that, not just the niche, not just the people that love CrossFit, but people around the world, I think, if we can tap into that and they see what our athletes do, they will become more interested in how they do that. And when they become more interested in how they do that, they will want to do it. They will walk into affiliates. They will spend the money to learn how to do the movements that these athletes are doing. And at the end of the day, I think it's something we're missing. We're missing as a sport. We're missing, that visibility around the world, and our way of turning this from a niche into this global movement is to get, a reality show, create the stories, create the drama, take that to a global stage. And I'll keep saying it because I think it's something that we're missing. This sport lends itself so well to that. And until we do that, I really think we're going to continue to stay kind of on the outskirts of that, mainstream market that I think we're missing at the moment.
And I think that those are great ideas, and you've brought it up on the show before, but then let's jump into, where do they get a budget for that?
Well, I think the first thing is they have to decide what they want to do media-wise, right? I think in the past, especially since 2019, obviously, I'm not sure CrossFit really has had a plan. And I know we've spoken about that before, and it just kind of seems like a little bit like the Wild Wild West at the games with some of the things that are done. But ultimately, I think that the way that you get the budget is you package these unbelievable athletes and these incredible stories. I don't think it would be that difficult. I think that we've got these camps that are already built in. You've got places you could go to, and you could film, all the stuff behind the scenes with these incredible athletes. I don't think it would take that much to do. And then I think you've just got to put it together. But I do think it takes some coordination, and I do think it takes some planning. And I heard, I'm not going to kind of go into the minutia of it, but I did hear that there were some things being thrown around behind the scenes at semifinals, that there were some ideas of that going on. And I don't know what ended up happening with that. The person that was telling me those things is no longer with the company. So I'm not sure exactly where that went. But at the end of the day, I do think it's possible, and I'm sure there are people a lot smarter than me that would be able to figure out the ins and outs of that.
We think you're pretty smart, Justin. 4 points for Cotler. Jared, what way are you going to take this one?
Quick comment to Justin's. I think both Chase and Justin made a great point, so I'm going to take a different direction when I answer the question. But how to fund it? I guess this is the answer to your question, Lauren. There's a filmmaker who's wildly successful. He's the producer of the newest Exorcist movie, and he's made a bunch of other scary films. It's kind of his shtick. He does low budget films that crush it in the box office because he does revenue sharing with his actors. So he doesn't have to pay them up front. They all share the proceeds at the end. And so CrossFit could look into doing something like that, because obviously you got to pay the actors, and the actors are these CrossFit athletes, and the most expensive ones are going to be the ones that drive the most views. So if you can negotiate a deal with them and say, hey, we can't pay you much up front, like a small retainer, but then we're going to do a rev share at the end to see how successful this thing is. If they believe in themselves, they'll do something like that. So I just wanted to comment on that.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it could definitely work. But Chase talked a lot about driving traffic to affiliates by leveraging the media, and I agree that's important. What I'm really passionate about is retention within the affiliates. Reason being, I've been in the health club industry my whole adult life, professionally from the global gym world and now in the CrossFit world. And I believe retention is far more important than new traffic. It costs 3 times as much to get a new client as it does to keep the same client. And if you can keep the same client, you can garner longer term results, massive change, and create more organic traffic through word of mouth. And so with that being said, I've been to over 100 CrossFit gyms in the past 4 years because I've traveled all over the country and a bit around the world. I've seen some incredible CrossFit gyms and CrossFit coaches. I've also seen some very mediocre ones, some warm bodies that point to a whiteboard and tell you have fun for the next 60 minutes. And I've seen some gyms that don't have L1 coaches because there's no oversight, right? Like, they're not afraid somebody from CrossFit HQ is going to walk in and sue them for not having a real L1 coaching the 330 class. And so, I don't know how it's done, but I think if there was better oversight on who's coaching at these gyms, that could potentially increase retention, because you have, at the end of the day, like Chase said earlier, it's the affiliates, the local affiliates create the community. Their excellent teaching garners the results. But if they don't have excellent teaching, it's not going to garner the results, right? So on one end, thinking about some way to identify, okay, if you're a registered CrossFit affiliate, you need to register whoever's coaching at your classes, and you could potentially be audited from time to time. I know nobody in the CrossFit world probably likes the word audit, but I don't know a better word for it. And then another idea I had was, because I've gone through the advancements in the education, and I know that I've become a better coach by getting the L2, far better coach than I was when I had an L1. Because let's be honest, the L2 isn't like the legitimate coaching certification. And then getting my L3 has made me far better. And then, of course, experience along the way has too. So passion doesn't only do it. The education plays a big role in knowing how to correct, how to see, how to teach, how to crowd management, how to correct all the different tenets of a good CrossFit coach. And so I think it would be incredible if, yes, you got to have your L1 to open an affiliate, but what if when you go to do your renewal for, I think, $3,000 every year to keep your affiliate, you got a discount if you were now an L2, right? And so by going to get an L2, you still got to pay CrossFit. They're going to make some money that way, but you're incentivized to increase your education. And maybe your other coaches are too. Or you're decentivized. For example, let's say when you go for your renewal, you only have your L1 after 2 years, it's $4,000 to renew. And because you didn't go get your L2. And then after 5 years, you still have your L1. Now it's $5,000 to keep your CrossFit affiliate. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Like I haven't done all these.
Chase looks like he wants to jump in.
A survey.
Oh no, I'm like, oh, get them.
You should be rewarded for continued education. And right now there's no incentive to do so. And so I think that, your first year, you open up your gym, it's $3,000 to affiliate. If by your second year or your third year, you're not L2, it's $4,000. If by your third or fourth year, not an L3, it's $5,000. And vice versa, right? So you're incentivized to get your continued education. That makes you a better coach. And if you do it as the affiliate owner, you're going to inspire your other coaches to do it. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a gym full of L3s, it's probably going to be the best gym in that community. Because the best coaching is what's going to create the best gym. It's not the best equipment. It's not the largest facility. It's not the corner of the most popular street in the city. It's the best coaches. So incentivize the coaches to get their continued education, and you're going to create better retention within the affiliates, which ultimately is going to make them successful.
Fun fact, you can already put your coaches on your affiliate bio on the new CrossFit Gym Finder map.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've seen that. And it'll have like a star, right? L3.
And so what it does is it's basically like a Google sheet for your affiliate that are now on the affiliate map. And so you can put custom photos, banners, you can put down all your coaches in there. And then underneath your gym or your affiliate, it'll have, we have this many level 1s, this many level 2s, this many level 4s. Right. So there's already something that in place for affiliate owners to show off how robust their coaching staff is.
And then I think that
automatically, I love that idea because we're already doing it.
And so my last thing is there's a little bit more. So when I was in the health club world,
we used to have a minute timer here, Jared.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness gracious.
There's more.
So in the NASM world, right? If you go to be a personal trainer at a health club, you get NASM or all these other certifications. There's these other continued educations that cost a little bit of money, but they advance you along and give you continued credits, and you can eventually become a master trainer, which you made more money as a master trainer in like these gym chains. And so if CrossFit did something similar, I know there's the affiliate playbook, but if you go and look at it, you see that very few affiliates have actually looked at it because there's these YouTube videos and it'll show how many people have viewed it. And it's like 112 views with 13,000 affiliates. So not everybody's looking at this content, but it's valuable, right? So again, it's like, what if we incentivize the affiliate owners to get their own continued education in things like there is an opening a gym one, but many people don't know about it. What if there was continued education on operating a gym, on doing sales, right? Because if you have a walk-in come into your gym, but you're a great coach, not a good salesperson, and they walk out, you didn't help save anybody's life because you were unwilling to become better at sales. And so as much as people hate that word, selling is helping in the fitness industry. And so if we can get better at those things, and if CrossFit can create continued education content for it that costs a little bit of money, therefore driving more revenue to HQ, and it rewards them by giving them a discount on reaffiliating year after year, that we're going to create better business leaders and better business coaches, which again continues to create this perpetual virtual cycle, or this virtuous cycle of successful affiliates. And if we have successful affiliates, we're really changing the world. So I think that would help as well.
Jared, so many great ideas, so many amazing talking points. I'm going to give you 4 points to tie with Chase, and then I'm going to make Justin Cotler break the tie because now you have to decide. Jared, who got all this extra time than you, can either win, or Chase, who continuously wins episode after episode, has to win. So it's all falling on Justin Cotler.
Oh my gosh, it's just too much power. You don't want.
He's like, Jared talks way too much, so I don't know if I'm gonna give it to him.
Wow. I don't know. Can I give them both 15 seconds each? And can we actually see if either of them could talk for 15 seconds? I think that would be the funniest thing. I think that would be absolutely impossible. Ready?
Perfect.
Chase, you got 15 seconds. Go.
Okay, Justin, you're gonna be our stopwatch.
All right. Hold on. I'm gonna get it. Yep. And ready, Chase?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. The big news of the game season drops on Wednesday. I should have 10 seconds left, so I can't wait to see what's coming up for the new season for the 2024 CrossFit Games.
And Jared, go.
Okay, I think that pushing back events is not a plan around rain, and that you should actually have a contingency plan in place.
And Jared, stop. There we go. Chase wins. There we go. Sorry, Jared.
Oh, that's funny.
Amazing. Our first ever non-tiebreaker tie. Mustache Mick talks a lot. Your name has been rewritten.
Oh boy.
I think you have a new Instagram handle.
Free stuff to
That's what it is.
That's funny.
Spitting free knowledge. That's what it is
DeCoons
right
can
there.
take everything I just said and run with it.
Jared, Chase, Justin, thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Death By. As we mentioned, this is being released on Wednesday morning. Hopefully by the time it releases, we all know the news that's going to be coming down from CrossFit HQ. But make sure you stay with us, Talking Elite Fitness. We will post any updates that we see. As always, thank you for liking, subscribing, watching, and supporting us. And we'll see you guys next time.